Hey everyone, I'm Buddyfighter, and I'm going to go over some Glory Valiant cards that were revealed in the stream, basically from when I last made a video to today, is what I'm going to talk about. So, we also got the other new art cards for Dimension Draw, Bonus Quest, Dragon Emperor Legend, and Divine Dragon Creation. Just get that stuff out of the way. I think they're cool artwork, so definitely fine. First card I want to talk about is Spider's High. It's a DDT card for Dragon World. Of course, you can cast a card, you have 3 cards in the drop zone, it deck resets, and then you don't take any damage. And that's pretty good, and it also works with any DD Dragon card deck, so you can play it into G-Boost. It's definitely a good card. Of course, it's a once per fight card like most of the deck resets are, and since you don't take damage, it is definitely a free turn for you to just come back from the game, especially since G-Boost and Garga in general just tend to just go through the deck very, very quickly. So the new items that were revealed for the deck is the double bleed game Garzillion. That's a really word I don't know how to pronounce. So if you have a size 2 or greater drag on the field, none of your DDTs can be destroyed or removed from the field, and abilities can't be nulled. So it's a very, very good stat boost, and based on Vanity and Time Dragons, it's definitely understandable why they would have a you can't leave the field effects, because you tend to just screw over the item first and then go for the monster. As long as you just have a Garga in your field, you're safe. And you pay a gauge to drop a Garga into the drop zone, which can work for G boost, or you can put it on top of your deck to sync off a G Evo, or just get the card that you want into your hand immediately. Of course, it's only reactive once per turn, but it is a counter, so definitely worth something. Which is probably why they gave the same thing to Magic World, honestly. It's a upgraded broom, because Magic World items fucking suck. So I'm sorry, they're terrible. So thank you for finally giving me a good item. They same can't leave effect, nonsense, whatever, but has a once per turn skill during each player's attack phase. When a monster enters by G Evo, you can put a spell from your deck into the hand, which makes running one-ofs much more viable, and it's definitely a very decent. Not decent, it's a good card to run for the deck. There were no good items, so I'm definitely running this in Magic World. Hopefully there's one for Katana World, but we'll see that when we get there. The new Archangel Michael, it's not very good, honestly. It's the usual Advent stuff, and if you're dealt 4 more damage, you can drop all the souls from your card and destroy it during final phase. I'd still rather just play Gabrielle. Gabrielle's a much better card, so don't really care about this. New Electro Deity Mashiro. You can counter, then none of your Electro Deities can't be nulled, destroyed, returned to hand, and yada yada yada. The usual stuff. And an Electro Deity item on your field will leave the field by opponent's cards. You can put it to the bottom of the deck, pay a life for that card to remain in the field. Based on the translation, I'm assuming it also works against Godpunks, but until I get a concrete English translation, I can't say that for certain, but it's definitely good. Otherwise, it's a more Blade Dancer, it's just a Kuragane Searcher and the Item Searcher. Definitely should have been in the first set of support. So glad it's getting it now. And of course, the new Exoblade, Ga/Kanasada. I can't pronounce these words to save my life. And it's Sin Uchi. I can't pronounce these words. So just get Soul Guard cards, and of course the usual can't be rest, but also abilities can't be nulled, and this card counterattacks all attacking monsters, so with a stat of 10,000. Definitely does make your opponent not want to run into you, so pretty good. Dark Venom Dragons finally got support, and you're thinking, these cards will never get support. Glad they finally did. Maybe, I don't even know. I don't know, some people don't like this deck, some people do. I don't really know. But basically this card and all Dark Venom Dragon monsters can't be destroyed, returned to your hand, or rest by opponent's card effect, which is pretty much how you screw them open first, but you would just force them to rest and be like, okay, well, you pass, right? So when a Venom swamp on your field is destroyed, drop up to 3 cards from your opponent's deck. The ability only activates once per turn. But it also activates on your opponent's turn, so you can play a card to destroy your Venom Swamps during your opponent's turn for the same thing to activate, and it is not limited to one card in the field, so you can just play the 4 copies that you can and just go on from there. The new Orvin is essentially just goes off of that. You can search top 4 to get any swamp spells, of course being the new one, or original Venom Swamp, with set add to your hand, and at the end of the battle, this card attack, you can destroy one. The sets to gain 2 life and draw a card. I'm a bit bummed because the original Orvin only destroys Dark Venom Dragons on your field, but this only goes for sets. But of course, it just works with the new set spell, so it definitely makes sense. Good upgrade version, kind of like they do Sync. The Wizard's Apprentice, which the flavor text explains, it's actually a previous version of Sync, which I thought was cool. But its once per turn skill is Did You Forget Again? Just add a fire spell from deck to the hand. Any deck search that's once per turn is fine, especially for spells in Magic World, especially at counter speed. That's pretty good. Not really much to go on from there. New Cosmo Man, of course, is a size 4 because they don't want you to call it these things. Gains +10/+10 and a critical 1 for each card soul, and of course when you transform you get 3 souls, so it'll be at 40,000 with 5 crit, so damn, that's pretty strong. And of course you're transformed into this card you can call Galaxy Defensive when you drop stone without paying the cost, and there are definitely lots of good cards for that. And I think there's one that actually boosts the crit up by 1, so you can attack with this card, get the 6 crit, and potentially FTK if you transform from the drop. If you transform into the one that reduces damage by 5. New matte weapon, which prevents soul drop. Honestly, they should have had this a while ago. Pretty good. Also, you can pay a life to stand the card, stand a mobile area team that's in the soul of. But you're probably going to put the soul through Fubuki's effect anyway, so whatever. And finally, the Super Nagoya cast for the battle building. Like, damn, I was wondering where Dai Nagoya goes with it. Goes with this. You can drop a battle building monster from your hand. If you do, puts out card deck engage and draw a card. Of course, it's not limited to 1, so you can play multiple copies of this card. And I do appreciate that it works this way, because a lot of the other battle building sets only worked at the beginning of your turn, so you would set them and you'd have to wait a whole turn, and it's way too slow now. So I definitely do like that this is just an act during your main phase, even though it's on a counter. That definitely makes up for it. So, and the usual call Dai Nagoya, whatever. Link Dragon Order's got a new size 0. Love Struck Chiwa, when a soul is put in your card with D-Share, draw a card. This works off your size 3s, and of course, your new Agito. When it attacks, you can pay a gauge and call a Link Dragon Order on top of the card. With the D, of course, it has Dragon Share. And it is a boost to your stats if you have 4 more Link Dragon Order on your field, which you definitely should, with at least 3 monsters and either the set or the item. Link Dragon Orders, so they still kind of got shafted though, because the deck seems to have no real direction. It just kind of says, here's a bunch of cards, figure it out. New Astral Dragon spell, it's a counter, of course. If an Astral Dragon on your field, draw a card, and then you can move all your stuff around the field. Honestly, just a counter draw for a gauge. It's nice enough. But of course, if you pay a gauge, you can get Astral Dragon monsters from the drop with different names into the hand. It's just any Astral Dragon monster, so it's definitely pretty good. New Gemetals though, it's a new set spell and the one that prevents the null and rest, which is of course another counter to the deck that definitely should have been addressed a long time ago. During your turn, if you have a monster with a press and your opponent has no monster in the center, so you can just move one of their cards so you can press to left or right, which is typically a good card if you go second. Because when you don't go first, you're kind of screwed because your opponents are like, oh, my opponent's playing Gemetals, so I'm just going to call it to my left and my right. You're kind of stuck with this. So, definitely something the deck should have had a while ago. The new Gallo Mace is okay, I guess. It's the usual press stuff, and monsters on your pressed areas get +3 in a critical of 1. Of course, only on your pressed areas, which is kind of a bummer. I was hoping it would be an all-wide stat field, but whatever, fine. But if you do have an oppressed area, the card size is reduced by 1, which means you can just have a full area of 5, because the only size 0 you really played was Count Dawn, because Pawn sucks. So I don't hate this card. The new Dragon Blood Sex spell just puts souls into your monster. Standard stuff, should have been there a while ago. The new item, just Bloody Mirrors effect. You know, just change and redirect target. You're obviously going to change it to your deadly eyes. And at the beginning of the main phase, you can put the top deck into the soul, which is good for you. But of course, at the start of each player's main phase, so you can't even use it on a turn as you play it. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. What is interesting, though, is that the new version of Bloody Eyes is actually a Lost World monster. White Flame Bloody Eyes, Passion Eyes. I don't even, that's just a really long and ridiculous name. But you put 2 cards from the drop into the soul, pay 2 gauge, and during your opponent's attack phase, you nullify all abilities of monsters and items, because the items use it to just screw you over, especially against certain decks. But of course, Electro DD don't care about that. Most items really don't, because they're like, yeah, I have anti-null inherently, so I don't know. That's something else. But it is nice, at least. And during your opponent's attack phase, there's no cards in battle. Choose any number of monsters and stand. They attack the card, and you can get to counterattack everything. So it's just one of those things that forces your opponent to attack. But because it's a Lost World monster, makes it even better. Speaking of good Lost World cards, they also got a Lost Vader, just stand everything during the final phase, Dimension Slayer. If you stand 3 or more cards, you get to draw a card, just as an added bonus, because why the hell not? And they got a spell which I don't think is that fantastic, Dimension Drain, just nullify attack with open center and gain 10 life. So right when I was about to upload this, the Corocoro leaks came in, so I decided to wait and see what happened. 3 new cards were confirmed along with some other news, but let's get into the new stuff. Of course, what people really want to see was the new Vanity. So it's Reformed Demon Dragon Deity, Vanity Flip Destroyer. It basically combines Epoch and the original one. If the cards on the field your opponent can't gain life, this card can be destroyed, but also cannot be rest. And Dimension Door Change, when this card attacks, choose up to 2 cards on your opponent's field, put all the souls in drop zone, and put them into the drop zone. Of course, it also has Penetrate, because why not? The card is fine. it is not oof busted as hell, but it's still a good card. I do appreciate that they just combined abilities, and you know, dropping 2 cards with the souls is a really good ability, especially if it can't be rest. Most decks don't have like return to the hand or return to the deck, of course. So, you know, it's definitely a worthwhile card to play. I do enjoy it. Of course, the covered cards were also confirmed. The first one being Yuga's Battle of Glory. You can use this card in any flag to pay a life, and look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You can call one of Garga's other forms on top of one on your field, and get 5,000, 5,000, because why not? Which I think is very good. It's a G-Evo card. It's very similar to Combat Deity's Glory, whereas that one's supposed to drop it. You pay gauge this one's, pay 1 life, check top 5. That's definitely worth playing in the deck. And of course, the counterpart would be Ranma's card, Battle of Valiant, counter draw 2 cards, and then gain life for each lost player on your field. It's pretty good. It's not broken. And of course, you put them together, you get the cover for the set. And new SPs were confirmed for not just Ranma. It was also confirmed for Yuga's dual mode, which I think looks pretty neat. Amaterasu, Mel also appear in 1 SP art. Mel and Emma are on 1 card, Gabrielle, and I'm blanking on her name, honestly. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'll put it on the screen. We also get an interesting one with the Dan and the new Bloody Eyes. Of course, I'm very confused why the Dan's on the SPRs, because he never got Lost World, but I'm sure the flavor text explains it. I can't read Japanese, so whatever. I still like the cards, and these are 6 popular characters, so of course they get the SPRs, because why not? Well, that's everything from Glory Valiant up to now. They still haven't confirmed new products, so figure that out. You got like less than a month before you talk about new products. I get that there's a thing going on, which makes sense if there's a delay, but at the very least, just confirm that there are new products coming at least, just please. But other than that, I'm Everyday Buddyfighter, and I will see you later, I guess.